me take my will out and, take a look at it. Oh, I want to change this. I want to change that. I want to see what the life insurance policies are. So you begin to change. You begin to get your life together. And you don't think anything is really going to happen, but it does. And so within 3 weeks of your physical death, everything becomes more involved and more intense of what I just said. You absolutely need to get everything together. 3 days, however, beforehand, there's something that usually happens, and either you get sick or you're in the hospital, you have an accident, or just something happens when you're confined to bed. It usually happens that way. And within the 3 days, even if you're not confined to bed and you're still up and trotting around, there's an angel that is assigned to you. It is incorrectly called the angel of death. It's not. There's no angel of death. It's the angel of life. Because you're given the opportunity to go home. And that's eternal life. So that angel is with you all the time. I mean, not in private moments, obviously, but with you, and trying to inspire you and to encourage you of what to do next. There are many, many times where a person is, the last day of their life, they're usually confined to bed in some way. And let's just say it's normal. You're confined to bed, or you wake up and you're not getting up, something's happening. The angel of death helps you to come out of the body. Normally, at the time of death, you usually see into the heaven world. And there are many levels of the heaven world. There's at least 3 heavens. Even in the Bible, you have the concept, in my house there are many mansions. And if it were not so, I would tell you. And also in the book of Revelation, it talks about the 3 heavens. And so the first heaven is what you see when you go over into the heaven world. The angel helps you out of the body and helps to cut what is called the silver cord. It's also called the golden cord. It either comes out of your chest where the heart chakra is, or even the throat chakra, the Vishuddha, or the third eye, or the top of the head. But wherever that cord is cut, that's it. You cannot get back into the body. And so the silver cord is cut. Hopefully there are people around to see you over into the heaven world. And your soul goes forward with angelic force and with your beloved teachers into the heaven world. And the wonderful concept is that your friends and family who have gone on are all there to meet you and to lovingly bring you home. There's almost always, if you are a religious person, usually a religious figure there. If you're a Christian, Jesus is there. Many people who are Jewish often see Moses or Abraham, Father Abraham. And so many times you see a magnificent archangel there. But almost always you see a magnificent light. Magnificent. And you go into the first heaven, and this is where heaven is really what you want it to be. If you think heaven is angels in clouds, okay, you'll find angels in clouds. There are the pearly gates and streets made of gold. That's fine. But when you say, isn't there anything more here? And that same angel will come, and they will say, now you're ready to see what the real heaven world is. And you go into the third heaven, which is where the Akashic records for Earth are, by the way. The Akashic records for any planet are always one dimension higher than where the soul is existing. So right now, your Kim body, for example, is on the higher levels of the third dimension, bridging into the fourth. The Akashic records for Earth are on the 7th step of the fourth dimension. There are 7 steps in every dimension. The step is just a level of evolution, that's all. And so that's where I have to go for reading the Akashic records for Earth. When I go into higher planets, I have to go much higher because the life on other planets is much higher. And therefore, when you're ready to see what the heaven world really looks like, and it's called the Devachan, D-E-V-A-C-H-A-N, it means the realm of the angels.
I've never heard of that word except in your book.
Yes, well, that's what it's really called. There's a lot of things in that book that people haven't heard about because people are teaching falsehood. And that book, by the way, I didn't want to write the book. I really didn't, but I was told it was a mandate. No one else can write it. There's no one that's alive that done this work as long as you do and has the ability to write. And so, okay, you don't turn God down. That's the biggest guilt trip that there is. So, at any rate, you go into the Diva Chan, and it's magnificent. It's magnificent. You have flowers around, for example. Flowers sing to God. Everyone is praising God. And when you go for your life review, it's loving, it's beautiful, and no one judges us. We have to evaluate ourselves. Every thought, word, and deed, from the last breath of life back to an inclusive of the first breath of life. Now, I'll stop there because I want to go back to the near-death experiences. There are people that clinically die on an operating table or on the street, with an accident. And they are taken out because clinically they're dead. And they are taken by the angel, but the silver cord is not severed because they're not supposed to die. However, they get a glimpse of that first world, of seeing mother, father, sister, brother, whoever has gone over before. They see them, and they see what heaven is like. They can meet their guides, teachers. They can have a visitation from Jesus. And they're told, you have to go home. It's not your time yet. And, of course, we don't want to do that because everything is so peaceful and beautiful in the heaven world. But we have to obey. Obedience is a very big law in heaven. And so we turn around and we occupy the body again because the silver cord has not been severed. And that same angel makes sure that we're back in our body and we get the help that we need to make that body healthy again.
You're very well versed in the Bible, 1 and 2. How come it is that the whole concept of reincarnation isn't mentioned in the Bible? Is it alluded to?
Yeah, the word reincarnation is not in there because that's a recent word. However, there are many places where reincarnation is alluded to, many places. And, in the last class, I believe I, told you about a couple of the places. I don't remember all of them.
You mean in the last segment?
Yes, in the last segment that was class number 1. I remember I told you that the Akashic records are mentioned, and that it implies reincarnation.
You're right. It does imply reincarnation.
It does, and Malachi 3:16 and Revelations 20:12. The thing is that there are many, in Job, there's several mentions of reincarnation in Job, the book of Job. The problem is that the Bible is coded, and there's only 66 books in the Bible because there are many books that weren't able to get into the Old Testament especially, and the New Testament, because they didn't go with what the party line was.
Right. I did a show on that just recently with Joseph Lumpkin on the Lost Books of Christianity, on Enoch and other. Fascinating.
Well, those books are from the Nag Hammadi Library, and the Nag Hammadi Library is non sequitur to most biblical scholars because they don't want to have their focus of what is, quote, really supposed to be in the Old and New Testament rattled. And when you don't understand something, when you don't want to understand something, you push it away as not being valid. And that's exactly what's being done. And the reason why religions, it's very, very clear, the reason why religions have not accepted reincarnation, it's very simple, Kim, and that is it would take their power away and their monetary base. Because if we keep it as it is, which has the belief in what I call mono-life, that's my term. If you believe in mono-life, you believe that this is the only life that there is. And that means that even if a baby lives 1 minute, that's all that she gets. That's it. If you live for 35 years, that's it. You've got to become absolutely perfected in 35 years. You tell me how that's possible. It's impossible. And so if the whole idea is to learn and grow and to do it in one lifetime, I don't think so. Why is it that someone comes in and they're a pilot, or the other person is a shopkeeper, or the other person is a carpenter, and the other person is a teacher, another person is a seamstress? I mean, what makes somebody do whatever they do? Why are you in the field that you're in mass